Welcome everybody to the Triple Your Membership Workshop. We're going to learn a bit how a club can triple their membership within 6 months. And before we get started, I'd like to invite our district director, Tanya Hall, to say a few words. Over to you.
Excellent. Thank you guys all for taking the time to come. It shows an investment in not only yourself, but your club as well. And I think this workshop is an excellent workshop that Lisa has put on. I've seen it a couple of times now, and I love the ideas and the tips that she provides throughout the workshop. So hopefully you guys will take lots of notes and come prepared with those questions and be able to make that change in your club to be able to support your club with a strong, healthy club. And, you know, we were talking earlier, kudos to Renfrew Toastmasters that has incorporated this into their regular club meeting where they're coming as a club, getting the knowledge and taking it back to discuss. I think that's an excellent idea to do that with these workshops. So kudos to you guys for that. And with that, I will pass it back to Michelle, and I hope you guys enjoy the night.
Thank you very much, Tanya. So now I'd like to introduce our presenter for today. Lise Blondet has served as district director back in 2010 to 2011, and also had the privilege to serve the district and clubs in various roles. She collaborated in starting several new clubs and has also supported struggling clubs. She understands the challenge that some clubs have in terms of recruiting new members in the context of the pandemic. And today, she's happy to deliver her presentation on how to triple your membership in 6 months. So please join me in welcoming our presenter for today, Lise Blondet. For you.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for this introduction. I will be sharing my screen, and then after I will just say a few words of introduction. Where is my PowerPoint? That's my okay, I'll try one. I know it's not this one, but nope, not at all.
We have your web browser.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try. I did practice before the presentation, and okay. If I click here, no, again, wrong one. That's weird. Always the same. I don't know why it doesn't want to work. I'm gonna have to. What I'll do, Michelle, unless I send it to you and you share it, I don't know. I will try one more time, but that's a funny thing, because I did try, and just before we met, we had this, and
if it doesn't work, you can just email it to me and I can do the screen share.
Yeah, I'm just going to need to have, because I'm not using my home computer, I'm using my work computer, so I don't have your email on this one. Let's see. That shouldn't be the one. Oh, yes. Okay. I think we have it. It's good now. I'm just going to put it in.
You are good.
You can see it?
Yes.
Hallelujah. So welcome everyone, and I'm very happy to have you with us tonight and to share how to triple your membership in 6 months. I don't know, Michelle, since one of the clubs will be discussing that after the session, you think you could send Fran or Brad the handout that I sent you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can drop it into the chat.
It's going to be very useful. Yeah. This way you don't really need to take any notes. I already prepare an handout that everyone can get. If you're interested, just let Michelle know, and you can access to that document. On that note, when I first presented that workshop, it doesn't come really from me. It came from Darren Smith from District 4. At the time, Scott Valley Club number 8203 had 8 members, and it went to 24 members in 6 months. When I did presented that, at the time there was no COVID and the situation was not like today. So what I did every time I presented this workshop, I kept adding ideas and trying to really put it that it really reflects today's situation. I will ask you to hold your question for the end. And at the end, I will answer them. And I'll tell you why. Because when I was doing some brainstorming with my Club Avancé, they were coming up with all kind of ideas. But I said, whoa, we are just in project number 1. Let's wait until the end, for this idea. So at the end, everybody were confused. So I think that we'll do it one project at a time. And if you do have questions, I'll stay until, how the time you need to answer all the questions that you need. So don't worry about, I will stay after the workshop. So the original plan, the first thing was that the original scenario was the plan in 6 points. There were 8 members. From those 8 members, 4 of them were new members. So you can imagine that the morale was really, really low. And just like everybody, nobody had the time to get involved. So everybody were really discouraged. But at the end, the good news is, if I'm giving this workshop today, you can imagine that there is a solution. So here is the solution: how to obtain a maximum results with minimum resources. 6 members commit to one project. It's an average about 2 hours of work per month. And the 7% is the VP membership, and he's the one that greets the guests and orients them, and of course, try to convince them to become members. And the other member, the 8 is the one that coordinates the whole project and make sure to get the commitment from all the members. So the project number 1 in that case was flyer, business cards, bookmark, poster, banner, and sign. When I first saw that, at the beginning when I was giving this workshop, flyers, so wow, that's fantastic. Flyers, when I was brainstorming with my advanced club, you say, oh, whoa, business cards can go, but flyers, it's really outdated. But there might be a few places where we can still use those flyers. When we look on the website of Toastmasters, you can see different flyers that you can use. And if you do order some material at Toastmasters, you can get about 20 of them for free if you do have any orders to do. So this being said, I think that flyers, it's difficult to use in some cases because we don't use paper anymore. But at the same time, when I go, for example, at my grocery store in Sainte-Thérèse, there is no board, there is no places where I can pin those flyers. But when I go up north at my IGA or Metro, yes, they do have those boards where you can still pin flyers. So if it happens that you can use them, you just need to put your club information and you can get people to see it. Myself, when I go at the cottage and I look at the board, I'm looking at all the announcements, people doing this and that or selling this or that. So it could be a few things. Business cards are still things that we use when we attend networking activities. And I know that with COVID, it has been online, but I don't know in Ontario, but in Quebec, we're supposed to be all good in a week from now, that we can access, and restaurants, bars, everything should be open. Therefore, if we can attend the networking activities, business cards are always good to use, and bookmarks could be also good. Now, other than that, you have posters, banners, or signs. I see, I'll give you an example for the banner. At one point, I was going to visit the RBC Club downtown Montreal. And when I was, I took the elevator and the meeting room was not close to the elevator. Therefore, I needed to walk. And all along, there were those signs. And just beside their meeting room, there was that banner. Or some people will put other signs that you can see it's Toastmasters. If you meet, for example, in a community center, you can have those ads. And even some community centers, like the one where I meet in Laval, they have those big screens. So if you want to use those, if you have the opportunity to use those, it is a good way to promote your club. And who can do that project? Well, put flyers or to install a banner or a sign, any kind of sign. I think that even a new member can do that. You don't need to be an experienced member to do that. When should we be doing that? I would say, like, when I say right now, I mean, why should we wait? We should really do it as soon as we can. And what needs to be done? Distribute flyers, business cards, or bookmarks, or install posters, signs, or banners, and everywhere you think it would be a great idea. For flyers, I know that some people in professional offices like dentists or so on, you can sometimes leave some flyers. You of course, you need to ask the permission to do it. And that reminds me of a story. At one point, I was a member of a club in Blainville, and we were having this open house. So one of the guys said, okay, I'll know what I'll do. So he did printed about 300 to 400 little ads. And he went to the train station and he put that in all the car windshield without asking the permission about this this open house that we were having. So when people got back from work, all the cars had those things. And of course, some people just threw it in the parking. So of course, he got that message, don't do that anymore because you're going to have to pay a fine. So if you decide to go with some ads or things like that, just make sure that you have the permission to do that, because otherwise you might get in trouble. So this is project number one, a very simple one. Project number two, it's advertising in the media. Again, it doesn't need to be an experienced member. This project can be done by a new member, can be done now. We don't need to wait a long time to do advertising in the media. What do we advertise? It could be your regular club meeting, could be an open house, it could be a special event, doesn't matter. And where can we do it? It could be in newspaper, internet, radio, electronic board, or in social media. When I say that, magazine, there are some people that still reads magazine. You need to know who you want to recruit. If you're trying to recruit retired people or a senior, well, this is why I put that 50+ lifestyle magazine there. That could be a good place. Those people, sometimes they don't use internet as much and they like to touch paper and to read magazine. That could be very good. I've seen a few weeks ago something in the newspaper, the local newspaper. Montreal, you couldn't do that. But when you live in a suburb, you can still, for free, add in those places for the nonprofit organization. So there are several ways how you can promote. It could be internet. And now with social media, so many things you can do. You could include even testimonials, speech, video. You can invite people to visit your website. There are a lot of things that can be done on social media. And I know that the district, I don't know if this incentive is still going on, but I know that they were offering people that wanted to go with Meetup to be able to do it. Now, if you want to recruit like students or younger members, you can use TikTok. Now, with TikTok, you have those fabulous videos. My son's 35 years old. He's just hooked up to TikTok. He just loves it. So depending on who you want to recruit, it could be a very good idea to use that as well. Or you could put photos somewhere, or like I said, it always depends on who you want to recruit. And when we live in suburbs or smaller cities, sometimes they are more open for publicity like that than larger city. It depends where you are. So all those are things that you can do. We started with the flyers. Now with project number 2, we're going with social media. I think that's the most popular, or paper magazine, or other than that. But that's 2 things that can be done very quickly. It doesn't require that much of work, and it's very effective. If we move on to project number 3, now that you started to use your flyers, you've had it with the media, now it's time to think about having either an open house or a demonstration meeting. Who should do that? This time I would say that the members should have at least a level 2 in pathways, or maybe 6 speeches from the CC manual if they are not in pathways yet. So member, I would say that need a little experience. The preparations should start now and for a presentation in about 1 month. What should we do? All members make personal invitations to people they know. And where should we do this? If it's a virtual, well, you use your virtual link. If it's in person, because I know that several clubs are talking about now going to meet in person, I would suggest that you use your usual club meeting place. When we have those demo meetings, some people, they want really to make a show off. At the end, when the guests come and they attend that demo meeting, you create some expectations. So the following meeting, when they come, if it's not at the same place, for them, it might not be so convenient. You really want to sell them what you see is what you get. So I always recommend that for a demo meeting or an open house, even not to use, like some people, they want to invite a champion, a public speaking, someone that won the contest. You listen to that person, it's almost like a professional speaker. Some guests could be intimidated, or some others, they expect that everyone is like that. And oh, surprise, when they get back to the club and you are only 8 members, where is that person? So we really should, I think that we can ask for help to other club members, other clubs too, for evaluations for other roles. But for speeches, be careful who you ask or who you invite. And if you do invite someone, you must advise the audience that this is not a member of your club, just to manage the expectation, that so people know exactly who the members that will be in the club. And it's really word of mouth. So when you invite people, this is really one of the best things. But you want to make sure that your meeting is well prepared. And as I mentioned, you can ask other clubs to help you out if they are available. Project number 4. So these are higher commitment. A demo meeting is not a high commitment, neither a low. I would say it's a middle one. Project number 4, a Speechcraft, is really like a high commitment project. This time it needs to be done by an experienced member. It's following the demo meeting. So at the demo meeting, you could tell the audience or the guests that are attending, well, in 1 month from now, we're going to start to have a Speechcraft, and you explain what a Speechcraft is. It could be a 4 weeks or a 6 weeks seminar. It's up to you to decide. And where do we do that Speechcraft? Again, at the usual club meeting place. Now, the good thing is with Pathways now that the members, when they register for the Speechcraft, they do like level 1. So once they are done, if they decide to join your club, well, the good news is that it counts towards their progression. Though already they have done a level 1 in Pathways. In becoming member of your club, that gives you already some points. First, because you registered new members, and secondly, because they already progress in their path. When I was attending Toastmasters International explanation about the Speechcraft and all that, some clubs were under the impression that we cannot charge for Speechcraft. Yes, you can charge. You can even charge them the same price, same amount that you charge your members. And you can register at Toastmasters if you want to. It is something you can do, and Toastmasters agree with that as well. So it is a way, by organizing your Speechcraft, you can tell them, well, you're going to be able to attend this seminar, and following the seminar, you can stay with us for another 3 or 4 months to practice what you have learned with us. So it could be a way also to recruit new members and also to retain them. Because once they are done with the 4 weeks, if they want to practice and improve, because you will agree with me that in 4 weeks, even though if you learn, you have this all this theory that has been you learn, you still need to practice if you want to improve. Project number 5. This is also a high commitment project. Write informative articles, of course, on public speaking, on communication, leadership, self-confidence, coaching. There are so many things you can write about public speaking. Of course, it needs to be done by an experienced member. I would say that this is a project that can be done as soon as possible. If you decide that you will write 1 or 2 articles per month, you can really do it in 2 hours. And those articles can be published in a newsletter. It could be in some newspaper as well. Some newspaper, they appreciate to get those. Of course, it is free for them, and it's good material. It could be published on your website. It could be published like as a blog or on LinkedIn. It could be also published in an association or in a company, in a fitness center. There are so many places where you can publish all those articles. And of course, at the end, when you sign your name, it is with your club name as well. So people, or the website or your Facebook or whatever you have, so people can refer to you. So by writing articles, you are informing people about public speaking, about maybe how to use PowerPoint when we are on Zoom. There are so many topics that can be, it's really up to your imagination as long as it touches communication, leadership, or self-confidence. So that's a project number 5. Project number 6, corporate presentation. Again, this is a high commitment project. Should be done by a very experienced member this time. Could be done as soon as possible. And the presentation would be, how can the Toastmasters program benefit your business? I would recommend that there are so many SMEs that don't have enough employees to build a club. For example, we see to build a new club, there should be at least 200 to 300 employees. But some SMEs, they only have 40 employees or 100 employees. Therefore, they cannot build a club within their company. But all those people that are giving training in those companies, all those in sales, can be very much interested to join a club, or at least to attend as a guest to start with. So if you do all those presentations to those SMEs that you can look around in your city or nearby, you can contact them. It could be also with the Lion Club. It could be with the Rotary, because the Rotary clubs, you are all aware, I imagine, that Toastmasters has done a partnership with the Rotary clubs. It could be very good for you to approach them if you have one of those nearby your club. So this is something also that could be very well done. And if someone is planning to do that, you could ask maybe your club if you could practice at least once to make sure that your content is fine, that you are well prepared, that you know what you're talking about. Even if you are an experienced member, you would like to have an evaluation before moving forward to do that presentation to small corporations. So now that we have covered all those items that we could do, all those projects, we have covered, in fact, 5 projects that we can do, 6 projects, sorry. It's time to do an action plan. So the person that decides to organize that in his club will present and promote the plan. Here is my recommendation. The person that decides to move on and organize that should do it as an HPL. This is a huge project. It's not something that you can just turn around and do it like that, because you need to get the commitment of each member of the club. This is not something light. It's not something that you can take on your shoulders and do by yourself. You really need, unless you are retired and you want to do just that in your whole life. But if I would strongly suggest that you get, and plus when you get members involved and you get them committed to support the club, it's a good way to retain your members. I always tell the members of my club, if you're not using me, you might lose me because I will lose interest. I want to be involved in my club. So by getting the commitment of the members, this is a really something, and you need to evaluate the strengths of each of them. You need to coach them. In some cases, you need to support them. This is a great HPL project that you can take on, and that will really support your club. And at the end, the person that decides to do that to take on that project to help, to lead the team, for them, it is something huge. And at the end, when you succeed, you're so proud of yourself because you know that what you've done was meaningful and that you were able to support your club. And very importantly, in Toastmasters, recognition. We need to recognize the contribution of all the members. It is important for them to be recognized, and that's going to motivate them even to do even better next time. So this is the action plan that we are suggesting. Now, when I'm saying that, there are others to carry out the plan now. The plan should need 3 projects with small commitment and high result. These 3 projects are display promotion, advertising in the media, and to prepare the demonstration meeting. So these 3 projects needs to be done by 2 non-experienced members, and the demo meeting, at least someone that has a few speeches at least, and can be coached. If that person doesn't have enough experience, could be coached by someone more experienced in the club. And you need to take at least 1 high commitment project, just 1, either the speechcraft, write articles, or do corporate presentations. If in the club there are people that can do more than that, great, it's even better. But that could be a very good start. And what I've thought about, there are way more high commitment projects that I'd like to suggest. And at the end of the presentation, we can discuss if you have more ideas. Maybe there are things that I didn't think about, or with my club, we forgot. But there are way more high commitment projects that we can do. One of them is like you can ask your community TV, if you have one nearby, to have an interview. I'll give you an example. This is something I've done. In Laval, we have 5 clubs. So what I've done, I contacted the community television, and I asked them if we could go and talk about Toastmasters. And they agreed. And they say, okay, we only want 2 members. We don't want 1 from each club. So what we've done, we selected 2 members that were willing to represent the Laval clubs. And they were brief, and they know exactly. We had an advanced club. We have an English club. We have a corporate club. We had 2 French clubs that were meeting in different parts of the cities. They were all briefed, and they were able to present the program during one of their shows. The other thing that's very interesting that can be done with your community television would be to ask them to come to your club meeting and to register to record your meeting. So that has been done a few years ago. They came to our club meeting, they registered part of the meetings, and then after they did a setup with that, and the guy that came was asking people to give testimonials. So he was going with his mic around the room and asking people to give back, why they became member, what's in it for them, and so on. And at the end, they presented that show. And what's good with community TV, they have small budget. Of course, we don't charge anything for doing that. And they repeat the same program over and over. Sometimes they will repeat it 4 or 5 times. So if somebody missed it, they can listen to it another time. Concerning demonstration meeting, it can be done now that we can get out, it's not only virtual. We can go in some shopping centers, some shopping center do it. At one time, we were doing, it was in Ottawa, it was in October, if I believe it was Toastmaster Week. And Dorothy Bertolette was organizing this in several shopping centers, reserving a booth, and they were not charging anything for that. So people could talk about their club in shopping centers. It could be done just in a park too. If it's in different shopping centers and you want to do it as a group in one city, well, you can gather all together and decide who will go to which shopping center closer to where you are. It can be into a community center as well. If you ask, like, if it's a city, you can ask, can we do that demonstration meeting there? It could be in a fitness center. It could be so many places. I just put a few, but those demonstration meetings can be done in several places. And one of the things that we've done in one of the shopping center at one time, we were having like a table topic session. So we were just between the members asking us table topics. And when the people were coming in from our table, we were asking them, would you like to participate and try one? And many people were willing to try. So this is a very good way to promote. Of course, you spend a weekend there, but you can be different members attending and more than one club, depending if you have more than one club in your city. It could be also a booth in a shopping center, like I said, a demonstration, but you could also just have a booth without having a meeting with some flyers and some information. It could be also when they have those open houses at universities. It could be in corporate environment. I've seen some in CRA, for example. I recall that some clubs were having like a table nearby the elevator. And when the staff was passing by or people in the building, they were telling them about Toastmasters. It can be a business fair. Business fair can be very costly. If it is the case, you need to refer to the district. But I recall once in a networking event, there was this guy that was promoting the Women's Day fair. I can't recall exactly what it was. And I went to him and I said, well, we are a nonprofit organization. We don't have a big budget and all that. And at the end, I didn't know. He didn't rent all his booth, and he had a lot of them free. And he was worried that people would come and say, well, there is not enough booth it's not good for the visit. So he gave it to us for free. So I had so many members coming from different clubs all around Saint-Eustache, Laval, Annecy. There were so many clubs that were willing to participate. So I organized the schedule, making sure that there were people that were available, at all times during that fair. And it was a really interesting place to be, and we're able to recruit members. Another thing that can be done, but this time it's really you need to make sure that you are well prepared. You could decide to prepare a workshop and offer it, but again, not under your name, but the name of Toastmasters. Could be a webinar. You could be organizing a panel. Now we can do it online too with Facebook Live. It could be at professional conferences, but if you decide to do that, just like before I said, I encourage you to practice it at your club or at Club Avancé, and making sure that you get all these feedback from your members to make sure that, because if for instance, the presentation is not so good, it's not only the name of your club, it's the whole Toastmasters that can be blamed for that. So I encourage you to make sure that the quality of the presentation is there. Other than that, I'd like to remind you that never underestimate the power of word of mouth. So many people will go and visit your club because you invited them. They think that you're a great person, they trust you. And at the end, they say, well, I think that it's really worth it to go and try it. And if you don't invite them, well, they won't go. So invite people to attend your meetings. Another thing that sometimes we forget because we are very humble, publicize your educational achievements or those of your fellow members on social media or newsletter. I remember my first DTM, I asked my boss, we had this newsletter, and I sent her, like, I wrote the text for her, and they published it in the newsletter, and it was under Toastmasters. So it publicized Toastmaster, and also because you did achieve that educational award, it could be for you or for anybody in your club. When you do invitation, make sure that the preparation is well, it's professional, it's attractive, the visual, and make sure that the grammar is right, that the spelling is right. Have someone checking just to make sure that it's going to be a great presentation, a great look, and that, because if you do make mistakes, again, it affects the whole organization. I mentioned before, resist the temptation to feature high-profile speakers or public speaking champions. It's better that you really tell them who you are, rather than trying to show off. And ask other clubs for help if you need help, because you are not enough members to run the meetings. Sometimes, if you are only 3 or 4 and you want to do that demo meeting, it's really difficult, because you're going to say, wow, when the guests will come in, there is nobody there, and you might want to ask others to help you for evaluation or for other roles. So that would be also something very good, something to do. I also thought about the advanced clubs. I don't know if there are anyone that are there anyone that belongs to advanced club? Yeah, Brad, Fran, are you still a member from an advanced club? No, not anymore. I don't know about the others, because since I'm presenting, I don't see everyone here. Jean-François, yeah. So there is one thing that sometimes we forget. On District 61 Facebook, most of the advanced club, they would require dual membership to be a member of another club. Some advanced clubs might not require that, but I know that most of them do. This is a fabulous place to recruit members, because they are all already Toastmaster members. Also, it could be at the area division, the contest, or annual conferences, the conference that you can promote your advanced club. I know that every time that we used to go in person at the annual conference, I always ask the chair, can we have a booth at the conference? It doesn't mean that there will be a member standing there for the whole weekend at that booth, but at least we can do some promotions, some pictures, or maybe to have something visual to invite the members. And there is like the Facebook, and there is like the annual conference. We encourage also the members from Advanced Club to visit clubs regularly. This way you can talk about your Advanced Club and to invite members too. During contests or other events, mention that you are a member of an advanced club. I don't know how many contests I attended. And sure enough, at the end of the contest, when you are a contestant, the chair will ask you, what club do you belong to? And I'm listening to the answer, and the person will just say their home club. And they will forget to say that they are a member of the advanced club. Maybe for the contest, you were representing a club, but I would say, and I'm also a member of that events club. Try to think about it, to develop that really to do it every single time. This is such a good occasion to promote your club. Again, acknowledge your members' success publicly on social media and elsewhere. You want people to know that clubs of advanced clubs, that they are succeeding, that they are getting DTMs, they are getting promotion at work. Whatever they're doing and they're doing good, let the people know, let the members know. They can also, at the Advanced Club, offer either a speaker's bureau or to be a facilitator, a moderator, a master of ceremonies for other places than Toastmasters, in Toastmasters as well. So these are all good places to promote Advanced Club. And again, invite regular club members from your home club to attend those meetings. So these are tips more specifically for advanced clubs. So that could be things to do as well. So I would say that what's very important in all that is that every time that you do something, a project like this one, is that you all work as a team. If someone just do one of the project, that's not gonna double your membership or triple your membership. It's really the addition of several of those projects done one at a time if needed, but you need to make sure that you're not just doing one thing. Just one thing won't take you to double or triple. You need to do several projects, like we say in the plan, 3 small commitment and 1 high commitment, at least. That would be my recommendation if you want to have success while you do this project. And I can guarantee you, and my greatest pleasure is every time I give this workshop, and a year or two later, I attend a Toastmaster event and I meet one of those members and they tell me, Lise, I attended your workshop and you know what? It really increased the number of the members of the club. Wow. I'm so happy because this is why we are offering this workshop, is to see your club succeeding. This is what we want. And when I hear members from our own district, District 61, succeeding, well, we say, job done, and we're happy for you. So that completes my presentation. Do you have any comments, questions, things that you like to add to what I said that you think that could benefit your colleagues? Just can you raise your hand and no questions, or I don't see, maybe on the other one. Yeah, Lisa.
So our club, I'm from a club in Wisconsin, District 35. One of my members shared this meeting with us. We're really dwindling in numbers. We were a group of 40 and then COVID hit and we're online and we're a corporate club. So, you know, for us to get members, it's a little bit more difficult because we can't go to like, you know, the grocery stores and things like that and promote that way. Do you have any insight or tips or thoughts for a corporate club, how to grow? We're just at a loss right now.
Yeah, I know that for corporate club, it's not easy. One of the things that I would say as really you need to have your management support. In corporate clubs, when you don't have the management support, it's very difficult. You may want to ask your club growth director to go and meet with your HR department. That could be one of the things you can do, or your training department, depending who decided to build that club at the beginning. And the other thing too, like I was talking about having a booth or a table or some kind of a promotion nearby an elevator, if there is an elevator where you work, or somewhere where you can really meet the members, and not the members, but potential member of the staff, and talk to them about Toastmasters. If you have like intranet or things where you can do promotion, or you can talk to, if there is a newsletter for the within the corporation, or how do you communicate with all the departments? Is there a way how big is your company, Lisa?
It's an insurance company, so we're tens of thousands large. So we're very
within the same building, or they are
no, we are permanently virtual. So our entire claims department is virtual. So we have no plans of being in person at any time in the near future.
And before COVID, were you meeting in person, or it was?
Yes, we were meeting in person, and it was we had a lot of success. We were, you know, that we somehow lost that connection, I think, and we're just really having a hard time building that back.
I would say that I don't know in your province how it is going, but in Quebec right now, they really want to smooth. It's going to be much easier to meet in person, and I think that will be one of the solutions. I see a lot of clubs struggling. Before this workshop, I was looking at the club numbers, and several of our clubs are under 15, even under 10. So I know that you're not. Yeah. I heard that you're a corporate club, which is different. At the same time, if you can have internal communication and get the support of your HR, and you have shift also, I imagine that you have some shift rotation. That doesn't help either, right? Because that's even more difficult. But I think that going back in person could be, you know, and even if it's not every week, every 2 weeks or so, that can be a start to going back in person if it's allowed in your province. And to be able to do more promotion. I don't know if you have some kind of electronic boards or some kind of screen where you can do promotion that could be done. That could be very good as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah. So Judy, you want to speak? Because I missed what you wrote. Where is Judy?
Hi, I was just saying that I've done a lot of different types of outreach, community outreach, not necessarily with Toastmasters, but just with different things, and have always had trouble trying to find locations to actually do canvassing. Most businesses that I know of prohibit any kind of signage, and it's really been discouraging. I've tried to go a lot of different places, and someone did just mention Starbucks, which I didn't realize if it is back open. I didn't realize that the seating area was open back up again. But, you know, it's just, it would be nice to be able to reach out to other places, but I just haven't had any luck.
What city are you in?
I'm sorry?
What city? Where do you meet? What city?
So I live in a smaller city in outside of Madison, Wisconsin, called Janesville.
Okay.
So we are not really rural, but more of a suburb, I guess, of Madison, which by large city standards is probably more of a suburb itself. So it's not huge. But with that being said, the businesses that we've tried, or that I've tried, like I said, to canvass in, even with just nonprofit fundraising types of things, it's just not, it has not been very conducive.
Yeah, it's difficult. Some, like I said, like where I live, all the stores and all that, we can. But when I go up north at the cottage, smaller cities, sometimes they are more open for that. But it's difficult to. But I guess that in your case, you will have to move more maybe with social media and use other. It's going to be more difficult to go to the flyers. And the more it goes, you know, paper, it's not something that, I don't know if it will disappear, but it's not the thing that, for the reach out, I think that social media, it's easier to and in your local newspaper, do you have any part, us at the end, you know, for the nonprofit, we do have a part that we don't need to pay. And that's, but it's very short. You cannot tell much, so you have to be very concise when you write your text. I don't know if you have this opportunity, Judy, but that could be also something else.
Great, thank you, Lise.
Lisa, to add to that, I've had some pretty good success working with our councilmen and women of the city, where they each have their website and they all post upcoming events. So finding your local councilman or councilwoman to post on their site certainly was one way we've done it. Same thing with the Ottawa Business Journal. They have a free event posting site that we take advantage of. And then the other one I find good success with is grocery stores. They all have their message board on the grocery stores. So it's a nice way to do that. And if your budget, there's a few other districts here, so I'll share. If your budget in the district budget allows, you can actually buy the banner at the grocery store. There's a header banner that you can buy to advertise Toastmasters. And it's, I want to say it's about $300 a quarter. So that's $100 a quarter. And you could put an ad up there if budgeting was permitted. So keep those in mind. Like now, next time you go to the grocery store, you're going to see those articles and look for them. And once you're aware of them, then they're easier to find.
There is also, thank you, Tanya. There is also another thing that we've done in Laval. The city recognized us as a nonprofit organization. And because of that, they have electronic boards on the corner of certain streets, electronic boards. So we can send them a short text. It needs to be really short, believe me. I was counting the number of letters we can put in. It's not much, but it's just the same. We can benefit of that for free. So that's good. Some cities offer it. It's not all the cities, but when we can benefit from that, it is something also. And at one time too, when I was a club coach in one of the clubs, and we were really struggling. And what I did, I contacted all the associations. You know, sometimes in the city you see they have those that are doing for either women or for anything. And I was writing them. In your group, is there anyone doing any training? Would you like to do presentation or come and practice them at our club? There were so many different messages I had for them. And sure enough, once, not all of them, but some of them answered me, and they came as a visitor because we were meeting in the same same community center. So there are different ways, but we must always think out of the box, because when you get all those cold calls, or even sometimes I would call, ask information, and then I would try to see if there was any interest, if I could send them publicity. I was asking them the permission. Do you allow me to send you an email with what we do and how we can help your members? And out of that, we recruited a few members. It's a lot of work, but it pays at the end. Any other questions, comments?
I think Todd has his hand up. Go ahead, Todd.
No, I didn't see Todd. Okay, go ahead, Todd. You unmute yourself. You're still on mute. It doesn't want to unmute. Gonna have to write it in the chat. Oh, it's not funny for Todd, not able to speak. Oh my God.
I see
Yeah,
Steve Fritz
okay.
Millet with it. Oh, there.
I think I got it from a different phone. So
Okay.
last night at one of the coaching conferences we had in a different district, they were saying that if you join a Chamber of Commerce, some of the cities are smaller, so the amount that you would spend to become a member could be just like $100 or so. And that would be a really good way of attracting either a speechcraft course or possibly mentioning what your club could do and how people who are in sales or business might be able to come to it and join your club.
Yeah, I know Quebec City did that, Todd. Jean Racine took his membership. I think it was in Lévis in Quebec. He did take his membership, and this was one way we promote his club. So that's like when I said networking, it's more than networking, because if you need to talk and you need to take a membership, it is there's another solution. Yes, Steve.
Hi, everybody. I'll lower my hand here because I've got your attention now. So there we go. Just a couple of quick ones. We have a lady in our club named Kate Merrill, who's our vice president, was our vice president of PR. And she's kind of a Facebook guru, and she did some analysis on Facebook posts. And what she found was that there were certain types of photos which got more likes and shares by like a factor of 5 than others. And the ones that got the most likes and shares are actually the ones celebrating people's success, because of course family members and friends and so on want to share that around. So being strategic about what you put on your Facebook and other social media is really important. Related to this idea of online versus in person, I'm here in Hawaii on vacation right now, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just letting you know that that's where I am. And tomorrow night I'm going to a Toastmasters meeting, but it's virtual. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's a good thing I'm persistent, because it took forever to get a hold of anybody. The Zoom link is not posted on their Facebook page. There are a whole bunch of hurdles that have been created, for me to get into this meeting. I finally made it. Yay, I'm giving a speech and everything. It's great. I encourage you to make it as hurdle-free as possible. Now, I know there was a time when Zoom first really picked up that there were Zoom crashers coming in and people doing inappropriate things, but I think most of that's kind of abated. And one way is just to make sure the Zoom link is readily accessible and you don't have to chase 50 people to get an email to find out finally where you need to go. And then finally, with regards to the corporate piece, I think the key thing is to get someone in the higher up level to support it. They may not have to be a member, but somebody who's willing to be like a champion for the organization. We had that with the Queen's Club, which we started here in Kingston. It was the director of the Cancer Institute who actually was the main driver to get that thing to happen. And he encouraged all his staff to do it. So even though he wasn't a member, he was a big promoter and he loved it. And so finding somebody who can help you to promote it or at least support it is, I think, fundamentally important. And that's all I got from Hawaii. Thank you, Liz, for an excellent presentation. I've taken lots of notes. I love it.
Thank you, Steve. I'm reading now in the chat that what friend wrote, and I think it's interesting too, to have a bookmark and to give it to the local library with all the club's details, or maybe it could be also District 61 as well. You know, it could be that. That could be on the bookmark, but I'm sure that library would love to have bookmarks. I think it's not very expensive to print. If you go to Staples, you can have those big slices and you just need to cut them after. So that could be a very good solution, a very good, those that put things in the chat, if you want to just speak up, because I'm trying to make up from what people wrote, but you can also. Anybody has any other ideas? They'd like to share questions? Yes, Todd. Go. Now, you had to find out how to unmute himself.
So yesterday I was talking with Pat Johnson, one of the international presidents, a lady who wrote a handbook on how to build corporate clubs that's available from TEI. So if you're looking to look for some ideas about how to grow or stimulate a corporate club, there is a manual available from Toastmasters International.
Yeah, it's on sale. Our book is on sale on Toastmasters website, right?
And as for the bookmarks, they worked extremely well about 12 years ago for the DDO club. We had them made on a little bit heavier cardstock, and we deposited them at the libraries and the Barnes and Noble or Chapters kind of bookstore. And they even invited us to come in and have like a little bit of a demo meeting up at the coffee shop in the bookstore. So that was really cool as a way to get the word out about our clubs and have some little people interacting at the coffee area and then getting a free bookmark when they bought a book.
That's good, but now it didn't work anymore because they were closed. Is that it, or does it still work, John?
I'm going to say that the VPPR didn't re-establish the connection at the location.
Okay, I get it. Thank you for sharing that, John.
Liz, thanks. Thank you for presentation. Very helpful. I just have a question on our meetings are online, right? Most clubs meetings are online, and possibly they're gonna go in person, possibly this summer. Not sure like how quick they're gonna go in person. Shouldn't our strategy be online advertising or online reach to try to reach out to guests to join the club?
Well, online you have the opportunity. I think the district was offering an incentive. I don't know if it's still on. Maybe Michelle Artagnac can answer with Meetup. This was one of the way. Facebook is when because you're meeting online. I'm sure that Facebook social media is a good way to do it. And when you say that it's going to be in the summer, I know that as of next week, In Quebec, we are allowed to meet in person. Of course, we don't know if, and even the passport won't be required. It's not because the passport is not required or the vaccine and all that, that everyone will feel secure. But at the same time, it could be a good way if you respect a certain distance between the members and a certain protocol. It could be a good thing to start to meet in person. Our club is planning to do it in a few weeks from now. We just need the members to vote to agree with that if they agree. But I'm pretty sure that one of the things that really didn't help the club were the online meetings. Can be very good for some clubs, those that have different locations, such as corporate clubs, or it could be good as well for clubs that want to recruit at the international level. Just like I know that I think it's Todd that belongs to a club in United States. So for him, if they decide to meet in person, it might be a long ride. I don't know where this club is located, but that's another story. I can see you smiling. That's another thing. But other than that, I think that going back in person slowly, not every week, but just to get back to it, because we cannot live forever, virtually. I don't think so. This is a personal opinion. I'm not talking on behalf of Toastmasters, but this is my personal. I think that to save my home club, that's what we'll need to do. Otherwise, we won't be able to continue for sure. We're really struggling, really.
I'm going to chime in there and talk about the meetup thing, and then I'll pass it over to Michelle to talk about the other incentives. But, we do have free meetup available where you can go on and post your events. And I did put it in the chat early for it so that you can reach out to Meetup and get that set up. It is free. All you have to do is a little bit of work and let Chantel know when you're meeting and the day you're meeting and the Zoom link of your thing. And then you have to have a few people to click, say they're going. So low maintenance on your part. So it's an easy touch point. The district is running what is Toastmaster workshop once a month, and we're driving the attendance through Meetup. And just to kind of give you an example of, does it work or doesn't it? We're seeing 2 or 3 people come out every month because of our one ad. So if one ad can bring 2 or 3 guests to a meeting a month, it's not a bad thing to do, especially when it's free and very, very little time commitment on it. So reach out to Chantel. We have a Meetup account for Ottawa to Kingston. We have a Meetup account for Montreal area and a Meetup account for Quebec City. So wherever you silo in is the one that she'll set you up on. But if you don't know how to use Meetup, she'll help you through it and she'll get you going on that. And I'll pass it over to Michelle about another incentive that we've got going.
Thank you, Tanya. So we heard a little bit earlier about Speechcrafts as a membership building program. And because of this, the district is recently announcing an incentive related to Speechcraft. Now, there is a cost associated to running a Speechcraft. You have to purchase the digital bundle. It's $50 US per 5 participants. And so the district is prepared to reimburse clubs for the cost of the digital bundle. And also, because the whole point of a Speechcraft is to get the word out, get guests into your club, you want to be able to publicize that on social media. And so we're willing to reimburse clubs for up to a $25 boost on Facebook or LinkedIn. And again, this is something that will help get people into the clubs. And so the $50 reimbursement for the bundle and the $25 boost, that has to be pre-approved by the district. So if the club is interested in running a Speechcraft, you can reach out to me at cgd@tnv61.com and we'll walk you through the details of that process.
Very good. That's a very good. And when Tanya was talking about using Meetup on Facebook too, you can create an event. And when you post an event, it's one thing, but when you create an event and you invite people to answer you, yes, I will participate or will attend, sometimes it gives more result. Just publishing something on Facebook is one thing, but inviting them to an event or to Eventbrite. I know that CN collaborators downtown Montreal are doing that, and it works fine for them. With Eventbrite, people confirm their attendance. Sometimes they don't show up, but sometimes they do. At the end, they recruit a few members like that. So also someone mentioned in the chat that to contact former members. I think that's really important to do that as well, because I know that we had an open house in one of my clubs, and by contacting former members, one of them decided to join back, and others, that, like one of them said, when you'll be meeting in person, I'm joining back. So you must keep contact with all the former members, and even on the weekly, every week when I send the agenda, I am VP education for one of my clubs, and when I send the agenda, I always invite people that visited our club. If they want to remove from the mailing list, I will, but keep inviting them. And you don't know how many invitation I get per week from clubs that I visited. I've been a member. I get tons of invitation. Who knows? One day I might go and visit them or maybe join them. You need to keep them close to your heart. Yes, Tanya.
Just to build on that, right? So you're getting that agenda and you may or may not go and you've got your clubs, but where the real power to that is if you're having a conversation with a non-Toastmaster and they live closer to one of the clubs that you don't go to, you've got the agenda and you can say, hey, I recommend this club. They're strong. They send out the agenda. Here's what they've got going on. So it's easier. It's more top of mind for you to refer to another club. Now, what goes around comes around, right? So if Lisa's referring to one club, they're going to refer back to another. So it goes around, comes around. But bringing it back to your Facebook event, when you create that Facebook event, and just depending on people's social media settings is where you can really start to take advantage of it. You invite people, you invite your club members, you invite your friends, you just invite them. As long as they hit maybe that they'll come, it shows up in their news feed, and now it's exposed to their 500 people. So you just invite your club members and just tell them, say yes or say maybe, because just depending on how their settings are done up, it's gonna start to have that chain effect, and others will be able to take advantage of it. So, little tip.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, Tanya, as well, that using Facebook is very good, but don't overdo it. If I get like 3 times a day an invitation from a club, and they keep, we know that it's good to insist, but 3 times a day, normally I would just get, I don't want to be part of that group anymore. I will remove myself. So it's okay, like if you do it once or twice a week, but I would say that even every day, for me, it's almost harassment. I don't like to be harassed, and I don't think that nobody likes to do it. So too much is just like not enough. You need to do the balance. This is another suggestion I'd like to say, because I know that when I get too many of them, I say, oh no, not again. Yes, Todd.
So I visit a lot of clubs, and I agree with Steve that when you make it hard for a member to get in, guests are having twice or 3 or 4 times a hard time to get in. I contact a lot of clubs through the Free Toast host and through the Toastmasters International Contact Us button. The odds are maybe in 10 that I contact, 1 will actually get back to me. And by the time they get back to me, the meeting's already over. So if I'm thinking about you for next week, probably not. So yeah, if you have somebody watching like the channels, make sure they respond in a pretty efficient time. Otherwise, those people who are interested are going to walk away somewhere else, because I know there's 16,500 clubs and I got places to go. If I can't get into your place in 5 minutes, I'm going to be in another club. I've actually sat in clubs that had nobody on their virtual things, got emails from other people saying, hey, we're starting our meeting in 5 minutes, and I'll bounce from one to another so that I can be in a meeting. Now, I don't think a guest, like a non-member, is going to know how to do that or even want to do that. So yes, social media works really good when we keep on top of it. Unfortunately, too many people try to do too many things instead of being masters in 1 or 2. So just if you're more focused and more, remember the basics. Don't go for everything, go for a couple of things. And I think follow up and follow through is the way you're going to get more people to be with you. In one of the clubs that I go to, when you respond to the meetup or the Eventbrite activity, the VPPR is going to send you the agenda in advance. That's going to have the links on it. As well, they're going to start to pre-prep you to why you want to come. So when you show up, it's not like a cold call. It's like a warm call because the person already knows what they're getting into when they come to the room. And they feel more obligated to come because somebody already contacted them before. So like, instead of just getting all these like vague kind of people that might show up, this person is keen to be there because they have an expectation that you set up for them to be there when you get there. The other thing, when we show up 15 minutes before our virtual meetings, I don't think we should be having the conversation about why our agenda is empty in front of the guest. I would highly recommend either getting a Slack or a Discord or some sort of text messaging program where you can have that conversation with the members where the guest can't see it in the chat or hear it. So you actually prepare the agenda and it looks like it's been already done very well to hit the ground at the 1 or 2 minutes before the time is supposed to start to 1 or 2 minutes after the time is supposed to start.
Thank you very much, Chad, for sharing. Any other comments, questions? Yes, Judy.
Yes, Lisa, thank you so much. This has been really helpful and I really appreciate the fresh perspective and to hear some new ideas. I was wondering, is there a PowerPoint deck or anything that you plan on sending out?
Yes, I did send to Michelle the handout. It's not the PowerPoint itself, but there are all the ideas and everything is on that handout. So,
oh, perfect. Great. Thank you so much.
Well, if there are no other questions, you can always reach out to me on the handout. You have my email. You can write me and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions if I can. It doesn't mean that have you heard, as we heard, other members had also great ideas. And I think that's what makes that workshop really interesting, to share all our ideas together. And I hope that Renfrew, when they will meet after, you'll have a lot of things to think about and to discuss and find out what you want to put forward. These are ideas, and I think that it's worth it. It's worth it to really try them. Sometimes we're not too sure if it's going to work or not, but we can get a nice surprise. And the biggest, I would say, recognition that you can give, tell other people what you've done, share it with other clubs. If you are an area director, a division director, whoever you are, when you connect with other clubs, please share those things with them. Even if they were not able to attend this workshop, they can still get the handout with pleasure, or listen to the recording, or listen to the French one that will happen in a few days from now. So I thank you everyone for attending this workshop. It has been great meeting you all. And I'm just waiting and hoping to get the good news. So good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Can I ask you a quick question, Lise?
Yeah, sure.
What time zone, first of all, are you in?
What club I'm in?
What time zone?
Time zone? Quebec is
New York.
Eastern.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And when does your club meet?
my club. Well, Quebec time, it's on Tuesday at 7 o'clock Quebec time. Yeah.
Okay, 7 p.m. then? Great.
Yeah.
All right.
But my club, like I said, really struggling. If you want to attend our meetings, we'll be more than happy to have
It would be really interesting. What was your club name, did you say?
Laval Achievers.
Is that bilingual, Lise? The
No,
Laval?
no. It's English club. It's
English.
An English club. Yeah.
All right. And then do you have a website, or does your club
Yeah,
have a website?
I'm gonna put just my email. That's gonna be quicker in the
Oh, perfect.
chat.
Thank
And
you.
just send me an email and I'll send you,
Great.
we'll be more than happy.
So I think before we wrap things up, I think I'd like to take this opportunity to once again thank Lise for the presentation today, and thank you for leading us through a fantastic discussion. I think we all took something from this and are going to take this back to our home clubs and try it out. So thank you once again, Lise.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Yep, and as we mentioned before, there is a French edition coming up. So if you know anybody that wants to try the French edition, I'll put the link in the chat once again. And also another event we got coming up this week, we do have a recruitment and retention panel discussion that's being hosted by Club Avancé Synergie. That's happening on the 9th. So I'll put the link for that up in the chat as well. Before we wrap up, I think our district director would like to share a few announcements. So over to you, Tanya.
Perfect. Thank you. Lise, thank you. I love that presentation. It's so inspiring, and I love the conversation that it generates, and you can just tell that thought process is happening. I did want to take the opportunity to do a conference plug. If you guys have not yet registered for conference, it is not too late to do so. There is always lots of information going on. Judy, you are more than welcome to come. We will have a hybrid version, so we will have online and in person. So we would be welcome to have you join us in either variety. And it is just that time to connect. You know, for those of you that hopped on the line as we were getting started, we were kind of talking about how it's been way too long and getting back together. And I think we learn a lot when we're with each other in person. And I think it's going to be really, really amazing to have those conversations and get to know each other. So if you haven't got your ticket already, I think there is a price increase coming soon-ish. So make sure you get your ticket before the price increases. And if you're coming in person, book your hotel room before they're all gone. And we will see you at Tremblant on April 29th and 30th and May 1st. And with that, I wish you guys all a wonderful night.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Merci, Lise. C'était très intéressant.